Hey everybody. So it's a small victory for the divestment of $150 million from the LAPD budget out of their multi-billion dollar budget to go back into communities that need it most. I'm here to talk about where I think some of the money should be going, and that is towards community gardens for these impoverished communities that don't have access to good local nutrient dense food, because the organic section in the produce aisle is very expensive and we have enough space to grow produce locally for our communities that need it most, those that don't have access to the healthy food and that have to go to these fast food restaurants. In LA, that's southern Los Angeles and some of the surrounding areas. It's not as lush, as green as the affluent areas, which are predominantly white. In South LA, it's predominantly people of color, African American communities, Latinx communities. And that's where I want to see these community gardens. We have enough space and we have enough resources to make that happen. It's just about organizing in those communities. And I want to start a few gardens, and I don't have the money to do that, but that's where the divestment money comes in. It doesn't even need to be that much, and it's enough to sustain a garden. Now the issues are finding the land and the water to use, or paying for that water. So with land, I've seen a bunch of empty plots that are just owned by the city, and I'm going to try to connect with who I need to find out how to kind of pitch for that to be used for the community, for these gardens, because it's just wasted space. Empty parking lots, rooftops. There's this idea of growing in these socks that you fill with your soil and your compost, and you can put them on rooftops, you can put them in empty parking lots, you can put them on a lawn. Instead of doing a traditional bed, it's less materials and it's more efficient to grow, and it gives you the opportunity to set them up anywhere, which is amazing. And in addition to that, I'd also want to look into starting a advanced community garden that's more of a closed system, which would alleviate the water resource issue. Water would be cycled back through that system with no runoff, no waste. With traditional watering, you definitely have a little bit of waste. Yes, it's getting cycled back through the water cycle, but it takes longer. And if you can just have a closed system from the get-go, it can be a little bit more beneficial. So once these gardens get going, it's going to be about 2, 3, 4 months before they start producing. And then from there, if it's maintained properly, you're going to have an abundance of food in 6 months to a year. And then hopefully from there, more people will kind of catch on that they can grow this food themselves. And I don't expect everyone to be getting their hands dirty, but it's just a few leaders in each community, and that's all that it takes. I want to be setting them up in these African American communities, in these Latinx communities, in these impoverished communities. And it's not just in Los Angeles. Divestment is hopefully going to be occurring to the majority, or if not all, police forces across the United States. And it's a perfect opportunity to take a fraction of that divestment money and put it towards community gardens and growing fresh local organic produce. We have some public hearings coming up for people to suggest where this money should go, and I'm going to get in there however I need to and put out this idea that some of this money should be going towards setting up community gardens, because we'll be able to nourish these communities, the bodies in these communities, literally from the ground up. So we're going to reinvest this money from the police, and we're going to get it into gardens, and we're going to get fresh local organic produce in the people's bodies and mouths who need it most. Thanks for watching.